Welcome to the deep dive. So, you've shared some really interesting material with us about physical health.
Yeah, that workingout.pdf. Some good stuff in there.
Right. And we know you're looking for the key insights, maybe without getting totally overwhelmed by all the details.
Makes sense. It can be a lot.
So, our mission today really is to dig into this and pull out the core ideas for a path to well being that feels, more doable, more sustainable.
Exactly. And I think one of the first big things that jumps out is moving past this this all or nothing idea about fitness.
Oh, definitely. You see those images, right? Intense workouts, perfect bodies.
Yeah, and it makes you feel like if you're not doing that, then maybe what you're doing doesn't even count.
Which is such a barrier. So let's look at what the sources actually say makes us healthy. It might be simpler than people think.
Well, the World Health Organization, they recommend 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity per week.
Okay, 150 minutes. That sounds like,
Yeah.
well, how does that break down?
It's actually just about 20 to 25 minutes a day. Think like a
Yeah.
brisk walk.
Right, okay. That already feels less daunting.
And what's really key, they stress that some physical activity is genuinely better than none. It's not pass-fail.
Get started, basically.
Exactly. Just start.
And then there was that big study mentioned, right? 2022 meta-analysis.
Yes. In the British Journal of Sports Medicine, really significant finding there.
What did it say?
It found that just 11 minutes, only 11 of moderate activity daily.
Like brisk walking again, or?
Yeah, or some simple bodyweight stuff. Just 11 minutes showed a significantly reduced risk of premature death.
Wow. Only 11 minutes making a measurable difference.
Mm-hmm. And sure, the benefits increased if you did more, but the biggest jump in benefit often comes from going from nothing to something. That first step is huge.
It really reframes things, doesn't it? Makes you think
It-
simpler.
Kind of like the source mentions thinking back to elementary school PE.
Huh. Yeah, I remember that. Touch your toes.
Do a few jumping jacks, sit and reach.
Walk around the block. Take the stairs. Simple stuff.
And crucially, they weren't framed as workouts, were they? It was just movement.
Yeah, casual. Everyone did it. No big deal.
And the source makes a point that for a lot of us, that might have been the last time moving felt simple. Before it got all,
Complicated. Commercialized.
yeah, commercialized, competitive, and complicated, as they put it.
Which leads right into that mental trap, that question of, is this enough?
The perfection trap. It's a real hurdle.
Because we think enough means like an hour of sweating buckets.
Right. But the source pushes back on that. It says health isn't binary. It's a spectrum that's deeply personal.
So enough looks different for everyone.
Absolutely. The examples they give are great, like someone with chronic pain. A slow walk around the house might be their enough, and that's a victory.
Or a new parent lifting the baby, walking upstairs.
Exactly. Or someone healing from trauma, maybe just getting out of bed is the win for that day. It all counts towards their health spectrum.
So the takeaway is consistency, not necessarily intensity.
That's the core message, yeah. Consistency matters more than intensity. Show up for your body in a way that actually works for you long term.
You don't need to be an Olympian.
Definitely not. It's
Oh.
about being realistic and sustainable.
And it's not just about the physical body either, is it? The mental side is huge.
No, absolutely crucial. The source talks about improved mental health, cognitive clarity, emotional regulation.
It's removing more.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't have to be intense. There's research, like from Harvard School of Public Health, showing even a short daily walk can lower the risk of major depression.
How does that work? Is it endorphins or?
It's a mix of things. Endorphins, yes, but also regulating sleep, reducing stress hormones, just reconnecting mind and body.
And again, the source says this comes from intention, not intensity.
Precisely. You don't need the fancy gym membership for that mental boost, just intentional movement.
Okay, so if intense workouts aren't the goal or feel overwhelming, how do we actually do this? How do we fit it in?
The source calls it embedding movement into everyday life, like a habit hack.
Sneaking it in.
Kind of. The examples are really practical, like stretch while you're watching TV.
Okay, I see that.
Do 5 push-ups before your shower. Walk around when you're on a phone call.
Lunges while the kettle boils.
Exactly. Use a doorway to stretch your shoulders. Dance while you brush your teeth.
Huh. Okay, maybe. But the point is, these small things add up.
Yes. It's about reminding your body that it exists, that it deserves attention. These micro movements create momentum.
So 5 minutes today, maybe 10 tomorrow.
It all counts. The real win is making movement feel natural again, not like a chore.
Which brings up the important distinction the source makes between fitness culture and health culture.
Yes. That's a really key point. Fitness culture often focuses on, aesthetics, performance.
Six-pack abs, how much you can lift running a marathon.
Right, whereas health is broader. It's about mobility, balance,
Yeah.
heart function, sleep, energy, long-term well-being.
And you can be really fit, but maybe not healthy.
Totally. Someone could run marathons but have terrible sleep or chronic injuries, and someone else might not look fit but could be managing their health really well through gentle, consistent movement and good habits.
So that all or nothing thinking we mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
it really gets in the way here.
Big time.
Yeah.
If you think only a 45-minute HII class counts, what happens on a busy day?
You skip it. You do nothing.
Exactly. But the source reminds us habits are built through consistency, not intensity bursts.
It's like brushing your teeth, maybe.
Ah.
You do it every day, not super intensely once a week.
Good analogy. And there's that quote they pull in from James Clear, Atomic Habits.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become.
Ah, so even stretching for 2 minutes.
Is a vote. A vote for being someone who moves, someone who takes care of their body.
That's powerful. And what about people who just genuinely don't like working out? Is there hope?
Absolutely. The source says the goal isn't necessarily working out, it's weaving more life into your body.
Okay, what does that look like?
Think about lifestyle physical activity, things you might already do.
Like?
Gardening, sweeping the floor, maybe rearranging furniture, walking to the shop instead of driving.
Dancing while you clean. We're back to dancing.
Hey, it counts. The CDC recognizes this stuff. Studies show it can have similar long-term health benefits to structured exercise.
Especially for heart health and just sitting less.
Exactly. Reducing that sedentary time.
Which is important as we get older too, right? The source talks about aging.
Yeah, that's critical. We naturally lose muscle and flexibility if we don't maintain them.
So simple things become really important.
Like basic squats, touching your toes, balancing on one foot. These help prevent falls, maintain independence, keep you pain-free later.
It's maintenance, like that teeth brushing analogy again.
Exactly. Not glamorous, but essential. And there was a 2023 study mentioned, National Institute on Aging.
What did it find?
That physical activity is the #1 lifestyle factor for healthy aging, even more than diet or genetics, apparently.
Wow. Number one, that's huge.
It really is.
And related to that, the danger of just sitting too much, even if you do exercise.
Yes, the source highlights the American Heart Association findings. Sitting for long stretches, especially without breaks,
Is bad news.
linked to increased risk for heart disease, diabetes, even earlier death, even if you hit the gym for 30 minutes later.
So sitting all day then doing a workout isn't the ideal solution.
Apparently not. The message is move more often, not just harder.
So getting up every hour, stretching, walking around.
Makes a real difference in countering those risks. It keeps coming back to those small, consistent movements.
There was another benefit mentioned too, something about awareness.
Ah, yes, body awareness, kind of an underrated benefit.
How does that work?
Just by doing these small movements regularly, stretching, noticing things, you start to tune in more. You notice where you're tight or tired or maybe surprisingly strong.
It's like gathering data about yourself.
Exactly. It brings you back into your body, which is pretty valuable in a world that's constantly pulling our attention outwards.
Yeah, I can see that. Reconnecting.
Taking ownership.
So bringing it all together, it sounds like the main message from these sources is that real lasting health starts with the basics.
Yeah, foundation, not flair, as the source puts it. Showing up in those small ways, consistently, like we used to do in school almost.
It's funny how sometimes the simplest things are the most effective.
Well, there's an irony there, right? A lot of advanced training programs actually revisit these fundamental movements. Why?
Because they work.
Because they work.
So the final message for someone listening who maybe feels a bit lost or behind on this stuff.
It's really encouraging, I think. You don't have to overhaul your whole life or become some fitness guru.
Just start where you are.
Exactly. Start where you are. Move in a way that feels okay, that feels safe and sustainable for you. Forget the clock. Forget the tracker. Forget what anyone else thinks.
Because you're not behind.
You're not behind. As the source says, you're already doing enough because you're doing something. Even just thinking about it is doing something.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive then, the big takeaway really is shifting focus away from intense, infrequent bursts.
And towards small, consistent, integrated movements. Sustainable health.
Right. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Think about that vote concept.
The James Clear idea.
Yeah. What's one small vote for movement you could cast today? Something from our chat that feels actually doable and good for your body specifically.
And maybe just notice how that small action feels.
Mm.
No pressure, just notice.
It's a starting point. And like we said, exploring this stuff, it's always ongoing, isn't it? There's always more to learn about our own well-being.